A 61-year-old male with diabetes, hypertension, and previously known ischemic heart disease had a previous PCI stenting to mid-LAD 3 years before. Underwent a second coronary angiogram when he presented with ACS. That was in April 2016. Okay, now it's moving. At which time he was found to have totally occluded mid-LAD stent and progression of disease with a new LCX lesion. So the operator decided to go ahead and do one stent to the LCX and went on medical therapy. On January 2017, patient presented with chest pain again, admitted for elective cath. The findings were CTO ISR mid-LAD as before and a patent LCX stent. The operator attempted a PCI to the CTO LAD, and actually he used escalating wires up to Conquest Pro 12, and he failed. So we discussed this together, and he asked me what should we do. I said we will go ahead and try the retrograde approach. To help us support the plan, we did a nuclear, and it showed ischemia. After reviewing the angiogram with the patient cardiologist, we agreed to consider him and went ahead for the retrograde initially as I planned it. How do I run this? So this is a double femoral approach. How do we do that? Do I? Oh, sorry, it's not working here. Anyway, so double approach, you will see, can we run it more? You will see the LAD stent totally occluded. It's a mid-LAD stent. The RCA.
Can we rerun again the loop?
Can you rerun it, please? Anyway. No. Okay. It's running. So you see there's a new lesion in the distal RCA, which is moderate, we called it, somewhere here. And the circ stent is okay, no problem. So we went to the next step, just to show you more of it. That's tough. Are we trying or are we? Anyway, the equipment were XP on the left, regular Judkins on the right. The moderate lesion in the LAD, and we looked at the RCA, and we looked at the potential donor and collateral flow, and we elected the most obvious one to proceed with. It's okay. Do I have to do it or?
You have to. Shall we play it?
No, it's not playing.
Okay. It's playing only one time.
Only one time, okay. Anyway, we'll go to the next. This is the material, and then I elected to go through the right coronary artery using a cyan blue guide wire. And first step is to make sure that I do not damage anymore the RCA because it's a donor vessel. So I ended up doing a direct stenting. Anyway, that will be tough. Anyway, stent was positioned, post dilated. And now we started navigating. The same cyan blue was navigated through. At this level, we had to advance our microcatheter, fine cross. You can see it actually is showing there. Here. And, oh my God. I thought it worked well when we were there. Anyway. The wire navigated well actually through a very tortuous collateral. And I did interim injection to make sure that I'm in the lumen.
It's working now.
Okay. So I am in the lumen. Went ahead. Where do I push here? And this is the navigation. So it wasn't easy to find the right route. I advanced the microcatheter, kept trying, and all the way down to the posterior cap, to the distal cap. Then I advanced the microcatheter, and here the problem started. The wire wouldn't cross initially. Okay, please continue.
Okay.
Because you look like you're doing a better job than me. Anyway, the microcatheter at the target, and now the process is how to get through the distal cap. And I escalated the wires. Gaia 2, Conquest Pro 12, eventually Conquest Pro 12, the only one that managed. And you see it's going, and now the only way it wants to go is outside the stent. So I kept trying. Next. Now here another wire going out, in and out, and out, and out. Next. Eventually, I went through it, but at the edge, which is the proximal cap, again out. And you will see, this is the only way I could do it. And here I started de-escalating with other wires, including Gaia 2, then XP, then anyway, XT, and continue. This I was de-escalating, still outside. None of them
So
worked.
here just an advice, because where you are going sub-anterior here, even if you are going retrograde, so the flow is antegrade, so there is less compromising of the lumen, but put the wire to the proximal part of your stent, because you want to preserve that proximal part.
Actually, that was my next step.
Yeah.
And just to show you again where it is in the other position. Next. And that was the second step with a microcatheter. And I started playing around, hoping I will go in parallel with the other one, at least within the stent. Again, difficulty. Next, please. And eventually, I went in and I put a small balloon, and I managed. I didn't know where was the wire. The balloon, I kept it inside the stent. I discovered that the wire was not in the lumen. So I had to restart again. And I pushed back my retrograde wire, and I knuckled my wire to go into the lumen with the support of the balloon. It's a 1.25 balloon, 1.5 balloon. Continue. Several attempts. And eventually, I came with RGD, and RGD make its path through the guiding and exteriorized. And then I came back with a balloon. Now at this level here, right after this, I started ballooning. Patient developed ST elevation and hypotension. This is all to improve the situation. Ballooning, ballooning, going low pressure and smaller balloon. Here, where the patient developed ST elevation, you see the flow is extremely limited. And what I noticed is what I called a cradle effect or the wire bias. So what I did, I pushed both ends of the wire inwards, and the guiding of the right coronary, which I did not record, was all the way deep-throated down to the distal RCA almost. I pulled it back and relaxed the wires, and immediately patient improved dramatically. Next. And this is the shot after. I pulled the whole thing after that, advanced the cyan blue, dilated. There's another one, I think. Yeah. Post-dilate. I put two stents, smaller stent distally and larger stent proximally. And that was the result. Patient did extremely well. I've seen him since then in the clinic as well. So I thought the challenge of going back and forth was worth presenting.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lawand. We need to move forward.